So we got this video coming up. It's viral. Conservative activist Jake Lang taken away by leftist mob in Minneapolis. Some people actually used grok in order to change the skin color, and leftists were absolutely livid. In other words, they made a group of white people drag a black person down like this. And I'm not going to show you what happened next because I don't think it's YouTube TOS friendly. But let's put it this way, the mob wasn't gentle. I do not know who this activist is, but from my preliminary research, it seems that he is promoting Christian nationalism. He has burned a Quran in public before, and his very presence is riling up the spirit of the crowd, is turning men into wild beasts that cannot control themselves and feel the need to commit criminal activity. But, look, I understand that crowds of people are emotional, okay? Like, I come from Eastern Europe, I'm a very cynical person, and if you were to hire me as a consultant, then you'd be like, V, I'm worried for my safety. I'm a journalist, I have burned the Quran in the past. Would it be safe for me to go to Minneapolis? I would say no. Based on previous events, based on the fact that I know how mob psychology works, I would advise you against it. Because that's expectations, okay? Now, the fact that this happened, again, doesn't shock me. What does shock me is how leftists react to it in public. That is shocking. So you have, like, people that genuinely are cheering for this. Like, they're applauding what the crowd has done. And the reason that this is extremely interesting is that the entire leftist tactic, like the whole thing that they're doing in Minneapolis right now, is the reenactment of this tactic that DC Comics made fun of. So, like, here you have a villain that plasters babies around him and then says, you can't shoot me, you can't tase me, you can't gas me, you can't even knock me down, not without something very fragile and very precious going to squish. So, in other words, like, what this tactic is, like, you have a bad idea or a bad person, right, that surrounds themselves with innocents, so they get to do bad things. Like, they get to hold a gun on innocents, they get to burglar and rob people, but the moment you try to fight back, well, you're going to get the mainstream media and you're going to get society outraged because you hurt someone innocent, right? This is literally the tactic that leftists have used for the last decade or so. And what they're doing in Minneapolis is they're trying to be as antagonistic and as vicious as possible towards officers that are paid by the taxpayer money to do a legal job. And they expect that at some point, an officer would either do a mistake or they would fight back. And when that happens, they go for the cameras. They go like, look how horrible it is. You know, a woman got shot. And they expect normal people to be on their side, right? In other words, they want to be victims. That's what they want to do. They want to be victims. But you cannot be a victim when you're also the aggressor. Like, you cannot be the rule of law, the rule of law. Look what the officer did. How were the wheels of the vehicle pointed? Was it left? Was it right? You cannot do that and at the same time be like, yeah, you know, like that guy almost got lynched. That's what happens when you come to Minneapolis. You know, should have stayed in Texas. Do you see? At this point, people just stop caring. Like, at this point, when the protesters get brutalized by the cops, people stop caring because there is this code of honor that's called reciprocity. Like, people have to believe that you actually give a shit about the principles that you're trying to hold other people under. And so, when something bad happens to an innocent person, people look at that and they say, okay, well, that's a victim. Like, how can we prevent that from happening, right? But if bad things are happening to a person that's already aggressive, that goes out of their way in order to seek danger, that has no compassion and no humanity for other people, when bad things happen to them, well, if I ask the question, how can I prevent that from happening again? I don't know the answer to, because, like, how can you prevent someone from hurting themselves? Like, if the person goes out of their way to look for trouble, you know? Like, no security measure, no precautions can prevent someone that genuinely, unironically tries to find ways in order to get themselves into danger, but also are fine with the law being broken and the entire protest as well, right? Like, the protest is the fact that they do not want the law to be enforced. And so, like, what do normies think? How can you salvage this PR? How can you basically expect people to care about you when you don't think it's a problem, when a citizen almost got lynched? I guess, like, as long as the crowd manages to beat someone to an inch of their life, like, if the person didn't die, then it's fine, I don't think it's fine. Most people don't think it's fine. And most people have no compassion for individuals that think like this. My favorite thing is like, well, he burned the Quran, and so he deserved it. Do you know how many American flags I have seen burned? Like, again, use an AI, use Gemini, or use Grok, and just change the races of the people involved. Like, every single white person use the AI to make them black, and every single black person use the AI to make them white. And then say, well, I mean, the black guy, he burned an American flag, so, like, what do you expect? Right? I mean, seriously, I have seen right-wingers react to the American flag getting burned. They get outraged verbally. Sometimes, if the burning happens in front of them, they would try to stop it. But I have never seen, like, Americans immigrating to another nation en masse, forming enclaves or communities. And then if someone from that nation state burns an American flag, they react like this. I have not seen that, ever. And even like in America right now, even if you go to a Trump rally and you are to, let's say, burn an American flag, yeah, I think you will get shoved. I think maybe, some people will get angry. But I don't think, like, you will see this level of violence over there. And that would only happen if you burn the flag in front of them. Now, if they know that you burned the flag, maybe in your house, maybe at another event, maybe to make a political statement, I guarantee to you, and I'm willing to put money on this, okay? Like, I'm willing to genuinely put money on this. If you do this, like, if you're Hassan Piker, or you're Vosh, or you're Destiny, if you're a famous left-wing streamer, right? And you burn the American flag, or you burn the Bible, or anything like that, if you go to a MAGA rally just to speak and you're acting polite and you're not being antagonistic or you're just filming, yeah, I don't think you're going to get punched. I don't think that will happen. I'm willing to put my money on it. That's how certain I am. That's how sure I am that is not going to happen. And you also have, like, the interesting leftist tactic that doesn't work anymore. It's the centrist. Now, here's the thing. There actually are centrists in the world. Like, there may be people that generally don't give a fuck about Minneapolis. It's like, I don't live in Minneapolis, or I do live, I don't care. Like, you can't say that is a left-wing or a right-wing person. Like, that has to be something else. That there are more than two ideologies that humanity is capable of making, right? So it's not just, like, left-wing versus right-wing. Just because, like, people have two hands, it means that everyone just falls into two categories. Like, no. There may be, like, people that have more nuanced takes or don't care at all. But this ain't it, Chief. Like, you have these people that consider themselves to be neutral observers, right? That they're not involved in any way, shape, or form emotionally into this. And they will say stuff like, I don't have a side. That's the problem with people like you. You wrote all that for nothing. You always fail to account for the non-mentally ill, right? So, like, these are the sane people in an insane world. Like these are the only people with a working human brain. And you go on their account, and you notice that just constant anti-ICE posts, just constant anti-immigration posts, just constant posts at mocking right-wingers. And so, you gotta point out, you're posting nonstop, carrying water for violent thugs, and then you claim that you're on no one's side. It's like, okay, then you're an anarchist, right? Like, you generally want the rule of law to deconstruct itself, right? Like, you're obviously a leftist. And their response, some people love to see the world burn. It's your world, I just live in it. It's like, how the fuck is it my world? I don't govern anything. I'm not a politician, right? Now keep provoking the other side so I can see more carnage. Again, this would include that if you're a person that likes to see carnage, right? Like, if you're a person that, likes to see Mexican cartel videos and shit, you would have liked to see the previous event with the lady getting shot, right? Like, if you're generally a psychopath and you just like carnage, but like, again, they don't like carnage. What they like is to be chameleons, to pretend that, oh, I'm going to find like every single justification to pretend I'm not a leftist when I am. And my question is like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Just be a leftist, like it's fine. It's a democracy, right? Like, your ideology is allowed. Why aren't you proud of being a leftist? Like, why do you have leftists that are ashamed of being left? Just admit it. Just say, like, no, actually, this is a good thing. And there are a lot of leftists that are like that, and I have more respect for them than this type of thing. Because it takes only 2 posts for them to reveal their colors and be like, bet you thought that sounded cool. I don't need to sound cool. Y'all are getting slimed out every day. It's amazing. How am I getting slimed out? Isn't the governor of Minnesota stepping down because of corruption scandals? Like, from our point of view, we can't stop winning. But that's not the essence of the argument. The essence of the argument is like, oh, you're not a leftist, you know? Like, we're just insane individuals that see pattern recognition everywhere and have misclassified you. You're just a person that enjoys carnage. When in reality, no, you're a left-wing individual. Giving centrists a bad name. But yeah, so all in all, the reason the left is losing the PR struggle is because they stopped caring about optics. Like, the type of protest that they're planning, where you go in front of the cops acting like hippies with your peace signs and shit, and then the cops actually beat you up, and then the public is outraged, that works if you're genuinely victims. Like, if you genuinely go to a protest, so like, for instance, the first LGBT protest in Romania, right? You had, like, just a couple of people, I think it was like 30 or 40, they weren't corporate backed or anything. They were, like, walking down the street, and you had people with religious icons, like, throwing stones with it. This was, like, 2014, 2012, and most people were like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, these are just teenagers, right? Like, you're supposed to have the wisdom of God. Like, you're supposed to care about your soul and stuff. Like, why are you this violence? It's just a couple of kids. Like, there's 40 kids and you're throwing with stones into them. Like, the fuck? And obviously, like, this caused more people that weren't LGBT to join the crowd. And it's like, you know what? I will take a stone for this kid. I will actually be here. And if they throw a stone, I'll make a human shield. Because, you know what? At the end of the day, they have a right to do this. Blah, 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 blah. And that's how, like, the LGBT movement grew in Romania, because, like, it was a leftist tactic that works. Like, if you're genuinely a victim, if you're genuinely doing something that you're not antagonistic, you know, like, you're not going out of your way in order to try and run police officers over with a car, instead you're, like, exercising your right of protest, and people are attacking you, yeah, like, a lot of people are going to defend you. But if you're doing the opposite, if you're you know, going into people's faces, or the exact way that the LGBT lost momentum, having naked people in the streets, having people dressed in dog masks, having people urinate in public in front of children, like, doing all of that, well, then people stop defending you. Like, if you go from marginalized to being sponsored by JP Morgan and Chase, and on top of that, you're aggressive, you're trying to get people fired, you're scouring the internet for any dissent, yeah, like, you lose public support. The tactic stops working. And this is what happens in Minneapolis. It's like, you can't be a victim while at the same time, in other videos, you're not just the aggressor, but you see people encouraging aggression constantly. People have Twitter, which is why they want to ban it. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.